Okay, I am going to make a couple of carrying cases for these two boxcar spikes that are ready. Got one here that I've tuned to D2. And I got one that I've tuned to G2. Just a little bit of a fuzz on the outward stroke. It sounds pretty clean on the inward. That's not the point here. We are going to make some cases. This is just a chunk of scrap plywood that I cut with my table saw a long time ago. And it makes for the perfect carrying case for these harps made out of cheap recycled materials. Bring it all straight line across and right about here. Everything's by eye. Okay. Jigsaw time. Yoink. Okay, the next step is I lay out the hole for where the trigger needs to go. And if the trigger is at a nice 90, then I put the hole straight through. But if it has a little bit of a angle to it, like this one, you can see that. I'm going to angle the hole. And the way I do that, nothing special, drill. One. Now this one is going to angle out that way a bit. Boom. Go a little bigger. And sometimes this kind of thing happens, but that is the charm of these cases. Because again, it is just scrap wood. So, the next step, even though they're kind of rough looking, get them in there. Trigger fits okay. That one's all right. Let's take a look at this one. Let's just get some of this stuff out. And yeah, it fits all right too. Sometimes I open up the holes a bit more with the bit or a rasp or something like that. I might do that a little bit with this one. Let's just open it up a little more. Yeah. We'll see what happens here. Throw that in. And then I use suede to tie the harp to the case, which you will see soon. So I mark out the hole for where I start that. And back to the pilot bit. Boom. That's as far as we go for that part. Let's clean them up. Okay, this is one of my better purchases. Just a cheap belt and disc sander. And it has really sped things along for making these cases. Let's plug it in. That might help. So you can see this. Let's get it. That's one of them. Quick and dirty like that. I like the random roughness, the just haphazard kind of whatever look to it. Gives it a little rustic feel. Let's do the other one. See how this works. All right. All right, the next thing I do is I just quickly take a bit of coarse, I think this is 180 grit sandpaper, just to get kind of the wood splinters off wherever I can, and kind of get the stuff, the junk out of the holes here. Nothing too crazy. Whoops. Get all these loose pieces off. But like I said, I like the kind of obviously recycled randomness of this stuff. It's I don't know why. It's also easy for me to make and relatively quick. The real purpose is essentially just to give it some protection when I ship them. And I just happen to have a bunch of wood lying around. So I started making these cases, and you know, a little bit of effort to kind of clean them up and make them look good. There we go. That one's going to sit on there like that. This one's going to sit on there like that. I gotta clean the junk out of that one. Don't normally recommend filing wood, but I don't really have a proper rasp. So whatever. Now this split piece here, I think I'm gonna put a little bit of glue. I've never actually done this on any of my cases yet, but I'm gonna glue that a bit, I think, just to keep it together. Because I do like the look of that knot. I don't want to not use this one. So put a little bit of white glue in there. She'll be fine. But in the meantime, let's move on to the tie. All right, so this is what I use. This one here is actual suede cord. This one is fake suede cord. I couldn't find, at the time, more colors in the real stuff, but I wanted some more color selection. And the way I choose the colors is I just kind of, whichever one I'm feeling looks the best, I go with it. Sometimes I feel like the sound, the pitch has a color to it. I don't know why. But these ones in particular, this light tan one feels good to me on that one. And then I was trying to decide between these two blues. I'm always a fan of blue, but I'm not really feeling the royal as much as the sky this time. So I'm going to go with that one. And that is as scientific as I get with choosing the colors for my cases. And from here, it is a matter of thread it through. And these fake ones are a little thinner. See if we can get it through. I'm not going to be able to get this through, so I got to get my awl. And just kind of punch it through a bit. Sometimes it can be a bit of a pain. Patience is a virtue. There we go. So, as I was saying, this one is a bit thinner, so I have to double knot it, or otherwise it ends up getting pulled through. And I suppose I could use a smaller hole, but I've selected 3 drill bits out of all the drill bits that I have to use for these cases, and I'm not going to waver at this point in time. My solution was to double knot. Double knot, pull it through, harp goes on, and I do actually have a way that I like to wind these from the back. My dog barking? Where are he barking at? And when I get to the 4th turn on the back, the thumb goes under. One more turn around. Time to cut. This one I actually left a little long. Oops. There. And this, I actually tie each harp the same way before I ship it out. I always make sure that the reed, the reed is free to vibrate when it sits like this. The trigger doesn't go all the way through. And 1 knot on the end. I'm gonna have to go see why my dog is barking. Tie, trim, trim, away we go. I'll do the same for this one after I go see why my dog's barking. There's Jasper. We're not sure why he was barking. He was begging for food or something. So he's gonna come out and hang out with me. All right, back to the case. So, as I said, the real suede ones go through a little bit better. I only need the 1 knot. Let's go through. What you doing down there, Jasper? What you doing down there? Come on. I might edit this part out. This is kind of boring. I've already done this anyway. Oh, here we go. Right. These would have been cases for possibly a surge or a flux, but the trigger was probably a bit too long and they've become dog toys. Here, Jasper. Good boy. All right. Carry on. Knot through. One side. Okay. We'll come back to this. Okay. And the last thing I do before I get these things packaged up and sent on their way is I sanitize them with some isopropanol, which I have right here in a squirt bottle, 99%. You can get it at industrial supply stores, hardware stores, that kind of thing. And then I give it another fresh coating of coconut oil. I've got a soaked towel in here with some coconut oil. And then I put my Boxcar Harp Company mark on it, which is simply this red Sharpie. And I try to make a nice maple leaf symbol on account that I am a Canuck. Sometimes they look like they should, other times not so much. All right. Sometimes it's a little easier on the bigger cases. A bit more room to draw. And what I often do, for a little added texture, take my pencil, just go over it. This was actually a suggestion, sort of a suggestion. One of my first cases, gone out to Germany, and he had mentioned that the ink had run a little bit and would become indistinguishable. So I thought, let's make it indelible with the pencil. But the fact that I am going low tech with a Sharpie is still something I like. And then if it's a tuned harp, this one tuned to G2, I like to put the tuning on there as well. G2. Same thing. Go over it with pencil. Boom. Boxcar spike, G2. Voila. Two boxcar spikes, ready to be packaged and shipped out.